Hello my dear friends and family, I'm operator Starsky, and today I want to talk about something really important, the cold winter approaching in Ukraine. How do Ukrainian people try to survive, both soldiers on the front lines and ordinary civilians, despite cold weathers, blackouts, damaged infrastructure, and all the challenges that come with the winter during the war? Today I want to walk you through what winter on the front looks like, how Ukrainian defenders keep warm, what daily life is like under attacks and blackouts, and how Ukrainians prepare. Also, how help from abroad tries to make a difference. Basically, how people find ways to survive, persist, and push back cold, hunger, and cruelty. Winter at the front is not something romantic. It's always cold, it's wet, and it's physically exhausting. I've spent quite a few deployments with my brigade during winter, before and during the full-scale Russian invasion, and all I can say is that it was really challenging. The temperature in the steppes of Luhansk at times can drop much lower than minus 35 degrees Celsius. And despite that, Ukrainian defenders spend long hours in trenches or dugouts, where temperatures inside can drop almost to the same level as outside. To stay warm, soldiers rely a lot on proper thermal clothing, multi-layer system, warm socks, balaclavas, insulated jackets, and winter boots. Many of these items come from Ukrainian volunteers and manufacturers, or from our partners abroad who supply military-grade winter gear to Ukrainian armed forces. Without these clothes, frostbite would be a regular thing, especially during night shifts. On the positions, soldiers also use portable gas burners or mini stoves. With them, they can heat up canned food, boil water, and make hot tea or coffee. And these little breaks become very important parts of the day, because a cup of something warm at the right moment can give strength for several more hours of work, observation, or fight. Inside the dugout, soldiers often try to insulate the walls using whatever they can find, like foam, wood panels, or really anything available. And if it's possible, they also install small metal stoves, sometimes made by volunteers, which run on firewood. This helps dry uniforms and also keep the temperature at least tolerable. And of course, the front line looks very different in different areas. In some areas you have some more or less prepared and equipped positions. In others, you have to basically fight in the ruined towns and villages, and you don't necessarily have everything that a proper position is usually equipped with, like bunkers with heaters, stoves mentioned above, and of course you don't always have firewood. So basically winter becomes a battle inside a battle, fighting cold, moisture, and exhaustion, while also dealing with drones, artillery, and assault attempts from the Russian terrorists. But even with shells, drones, or rockets overhead, many still manage, because human will is strong and because Ukrainian defenders try to keep their routines, warm clothes, hot meals, and simple care for each other. During the winter warfare, one advantage for Ukrainian defenders is that frozen ground can reduce the movement of the Russian vehicles that nowadays also include donkeys and horses. Mud season, which comes before winter, also slows down the Russian attacks. And besides that, snow can also reveal footprints or vehicle tracks, making it harder for the Russian invaders to move unnoticed. But winter brings challenges too, because low temperatures can affect drones, batteries drain faster, optics can fog up, and also flying during snowfall becomes riskier. Still, drones remain active on both sides because they're essential for strikes, deflecting Russian attacks, surveillance, correcting fire, and also delivering supplies. Another disadvantage is that winter makes logistics much more complicated. Things like transporting fuel, ammunition, food, and also medical supplies requires much more effort. Roads become icy or blocked by snow, and every delay matters a lot. Again, you don't want to leave a lot of tracks and footprints that might lead Russian drones to the location of the ammunition storage or personnel. Communications can also be harder because batteries last shorter, power banks freeze, and heating devices must be used very carefully to avoid smoke that can reveal Ukrainian positions, and also Russian drones often come equipped with thermal cameras. Before the full-scale invasion, the winter hardships existed as well, but Ukrainians always had stable power, heating and functioning logistics. After this invasion, everything changed because now Russian terrorists deliberately target the energy infrastructure every winter, creating blackouts and putting pressure not only on the military but on civilians as well. But for the Russian invaders, the situation is also complicated. Poorly prepared units often lack proper winter uniforms, food and supplies. Many of their mid-wave troops end up in trenches with old Soviet-era gear or cheap Russian military uniforms that are both cold and not convenient. You probably saw a couple of videos, or maybe a couple hundred if you are like me, of Russian invaders getting hunted by Ukrainian drones. Every successful elimination usually ends up in this massive cloud of cheap white cotton flying everywhere. And the reason for that is Russian oligarchs made a fortune laundering money on the military procurement, and Russian invaders can say big thanks to those men before fertilizing our pumpkins with themselves. Speaking of the hardships of winter, of course, we should also talk about Ukrainian civilians who also face brutal winter. For many Ukrainian families, winter is the most difficult part of the year. Damaged buildings, broken heating systems, and unstable electricity turn cold months into a real challenge for the Ukrainian population. This is why people prepare long before the first snow. They buy generators, power banks, power stations, candles, gas burners, blankets, and warm clothes. Many install portable wood stoves in their homes or prepare emergency supplies in case of blackouts. And of course, across the country, the points of invincibility continue to operate. We've talked about them in the previous episodes. Basically, these are special locations, sometimes schools, sometimes administrative buildings, gas stations or tents established by the Rescue Service of Ukraine. And in those locations, people can come to warm up, charge their phones, access the internet, drink some hot beverage, and stay safe if their neighborhoods lose power or heating. These points became extremely important back in 2022, and they will remain important this winter as well. Humanitarian aid plays a very significant role nowadays. Ukraine receives winter clothing, generators, mobile heating units, and repair materials from different countries and organizations. Many international partners have already prepared large winter support packages for 2026, focusing on insulating damaged homes, providing heating equipment, and giving financial assistance to families who cannot afford fuel. And basically, this support directly translates into lives saved, especially for older people, displaced families, and communities living close to the front line. For people living peacefully in other countries, all this might be really hard to imagine. All those winter difficulties may sound unusual or even surreal. But for Ukrainians, this is everyday reality, my friends. Winters mean planning, preparing, and hoping that the next drone attack will not hit a power station or a transformer, let alone the apartment itself. Understanding these details helps explain why Ukraine keeps asking the world for continuing support. The Russians want Ukraine to surrender and let it finish what Putin started, basically deconstruction of Ukrainian nation and later the full-scale war against the West. And while some people outside choose not to fight because surrender is always easy, but Ukrainians know well that the freedom and security have their price, because Russia killed tens of millions of Ukrainians in 20th century, and our people have first-hand understanding of Russia's terror against civilian population. Ukrainians know very well that the only thing Russia can guarantee is literal genocide, and it's only guaranteed if you give up voluntarily. But the good news is that Ukraine has survived all empires that tried to conquer our nation, because there is no more Russian Tsarist Empire, there is no more Third Reich, there is no more USSR. but there is Ukraine. So, my dear friends and family, this is the picture of winter approaching in Ukraine. It's difficult, it's unpredictable, and it demands a lot of strength from everyone. But Ukrainians keep going, soldiers keep fighting against the Russian invaders, civilians keep preparing their homes, and our international supporters help us stay resilient. Thank you for being here, for listening, and for staying informed. If you want others to understand what Ukraine is going through, feel free to share this video. I'm Operator Starsky. As always, stay safe, stay warm, and I will see you in the commentaries.
Subscribe to UATV English and stay updated on the most important events, top news from Ukraine and all over the world, in-depth analysis, exclusive reports and interviews, all on hand in our channel. Join our community of viewers and stay tuned.